rack squat. Now, when performing this exercise, you can do it either with a kettlebell or a dumbbell. Now, I only have one kettlebell, so I'm going to show you how to do it with 2 dumbbells, because if you use a kettlebell or a dumbbell, you need 2 of them minimum. So the setup for this exercise, it's very similar to a goblet squat. However, the way we hold the weight is different. So being a rack squat, I'm going to bring the weight up. I'm going to hold it close to my chest. My elbows are going to come slightly to the side, and it's going to be nice and close to my body. We don't want to hold it out like this, otherwise we're going to be putting a lot of stress on our bicep, which is going to be shifting the emphasis of the movement. We want this movement to be particularly hard, we want this movement to focus on our legs, not our arms. So make sure you keep the weight in close to the body, keep your elbows up, elbows slightly out, feet hip width or just outside, toes slightly pointed out, looking straight ahead, and then coming down to a full squat, all the way down, all the way up. And again, all the way down, all the way up. One more, all the way down, all the way up. The good thing about having this weight in front of us is it helps with balance. One, it engages our core, so we're forced to maintain tension and maintain good posture. Otherwise, if I was to disengage from my core, the weight would just fall out in front of me. And secondly, having the weight in front gives me the opportunity to offset my hips, which then gives me the ability to access more mobility and range of motion. So you really want to focus on full range of motion when working on this movement. Don't select the weight that's so heavy that you're just concentrating on your arms trying to keep it up there. Start with something light, build your way up. Aside from that, some things to avoid. You want to make sure that you're not dropping your chest. Otherwise, what's going to happen is the weight is going to fall forward in front of you. You always want to maintain a nice upright posture. And again, having the weight in front helps with that. Aside from that, technique-wise, you might feel comfortable with having a wider stance or a narrow stance, and that's fine. What's key is that you're going all the way down, and you want to make sure that you're pushing through your midfoot when you're pushing through your legs. So I'm not pushing on my toes, the weight's not on my heels, my weight is right through the center of my foot. I know that might not make sense to some people, but that's just an idea and a cue you want to think of. But in reality, it's just making sure you're balanced between pushing through your heel and your toes. That way you're right on your center of mass and you're pushing through your entire foot. Now, if you don't have 2 dumbbells and you want to use a kettlebell, assuming you have 2 kettlebells to perform this exercise, it's a different setup, it's a little bit easier. All you're gonna do, make sure you don't have a watch on, and I want you to imagine that I've got 2 of these, is you're gonna bring it up and hold it close to your chest. So this is what it'd look like. The kettlebell would be resting on your bicep and forearm, sitting there quite snug. And it's a pretty comfortable position to be in, assuming you're doing it correctly. Again, if you don't have 2 kettlebells, use dumbbells. If you don't have 2 dumbbells, use 2 kettlebells.